Hello and welcome to another episode of Death by Bunjie. Now, this episode of Death by Bunjie is an interesting question to which there is no perfect answer. There is no definite answer. It's a matter of opinion, right? Does the R500E cost too much? Now, that's an interesting question. I have seen this as an objection to the R500E over and over again. It costs too much, therefore it's not a good crossbow. Those two aren't necessarily the same thing. I want to talk about that a little bit in this video, and I want your opinion in the comments about that topic as well. I wrote about this in my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story. I am actually looking at an upgrade this year after 10 seasons, now 11 complete seasons of hunting with the same crossbow, of hunting with Bunjie. Bunjie is an older, slower crossbow. Bunjie is a 2010 Excalibur Axiom. I love this crossbow. I have a great sentimental attachment, as you would expect from a guy that wrote a song about this crossbow and has made over 400 videos about this crossbow and has, started a YouTube channel about this crossbow. But it's really about crossbow hunting for me. And this one is so big, as you can see, I cannot fit them in the frame all at once. Can't fit them on the screen all at once. It's so big. But that is 2010 technology. In my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Story, Confessions of a Crossbow Hunter, available on Amazon.com. In the book, I actually show the receipt from back when I purchased my crossbow, when I bought Bunjie. About $550 with the arrows, with a quiver, the whole bit, all delivered to my house, $550. Can't beat that. The reason I say that price is subjective is because recently I was having a conversation with another friend of Bunjie who told me that even $500, that's too much money for a crossbow. That was an expensive crossbow. Now, I totally get that. There are plenty of friends of Bunjie out there whom I've talked to who hunt with crossbows in the $200, $300 price range. Some people look at that and say, well, that's... that you can't get a good enough crossbow for that kind of money, and therefore I wouldn't hunt with something like that. But friends of Bunjie prove time and time again that they can hunt with less expensive crossbows. And if you know what you're doing, and if you prepare, and if you are realistic about what you can expect from your equipment, regardless of price, you can still get the job done in the crossbow woods. Let's put this in perspective. Now we're going back to 2010. Bunjie cost $550, right? That's essentially, after hunting with it 11 seasons, about $50 a season. It cost me $50 per season, per year, to use that crossbow. That's not too much. Now, when we also factor into the equation that since that time, every year a Pennsylvania hunting license is costing me $20. A couple of doe tags is $6.90 each. So that's about $12, $13, $14, something like that. You add in $16 for my archery credentials every year. And on Pennsylvania alone, even before I go to Maryland, I'm spending about $50 a year on hunting licenses in Pennsylvania alone. So $500 over that time period is not too much, when in fact I spent about the same amount of money on hunting licenses in Pennsylvania alone. Notice I didn't put the cost of the broadheads in here because, man, you start adding in my Rage mechanical addiction and it goes through the roof, right? That's almost as bad as the Dunkin' Donuts numbers. For me, it's totally subjective. It's totally hunter by hunter. It is up to you to decide if this is too expensive. I don't think that saying that this is too expensive and therefore it's not a good crossbow, I don't think that's necessarily a good policy or a good answer to this question. But it certainly is a better question to ask, is it worth it for you? The way I look at this new crossbow, I am very amazed by the technology, very impressed by the technology, and happy to see it. It's kind of like a Cadillac, right? This is like the Cadillac of crossbows. A Cadillac, does anybody say, well, Cadillacs cost too much? Well, frankly, I've never owned a Cadillac. They certainly cost too much for me. But then again, there are people that spend way more on pickup trucks than I'm willing to spend on a pickup truck. I'd be more willing to spend $3,300 on a crossbow than I would be to spend $75,000 on a pickup truck. But people do that all the time. That's their decision to make, and that's why they make $75,000 pickup trucks. That's why they make Cadillacs. Really, unless you can get that Cadillac somewhere else at a better price, it's not too much. And for the Ravin, unless you're thinking you can get a 500 feet per second crossbow with a push-button cocking device on it, somewhere else cheaper, it's not too much. Is it too much for me? Time will tell. This is the next video in a series of videos I'm doing about choosing a new crossbow, choosing a successor to Bunjie. I hope you will continue to join me on this crossbow journey, and I hope your crossbow journeys are going extremely well. Until next time, all hail Bunjie!